I think basically it means that life is strange, you know? Life is crazy. You can't explain it. There's nothing as bizarre as the person that you see next to you that looks like, you know, Joe Schmo. But then it can mean all kinds of other things, I'm sure, with a saying that comes from that time. The metaphor kind of is, you know, it splits up into different meanings. But I mean, as I understand it, which may or may not be exactly right, I think it seems to me that, you know, yeah, life is strange. People are weird, you know, but they're also people, and that's like the twist in the phrase, you know. We're just people, and it's you know, truth is stranger than fiction. Same kind of concept. It's like you may think you know, but you don't know, you know. And there's nothing more interesting than finding out. So I was calling my friend saying, I'm late, I'm really late, I'm stuck in this audition. I guess it's going well, but I'm probably going to be late. And I went back in, and they said, well, we just got off the phone with your manager, so I knew that something was going on. And they said, we're called the producers. Can you wait long enough for the producers to get over here? And to be honest, at that point, I was already in the middle of this other job, and I really had to catch up on some work for the next day. We were going to shoot some more, and I said, well, how long is it going to take, you know? I'm really late, and I feel bad because I've got a flight here waiting for me. I said, well, they really want to see you, so they're coming over. I said, all right, I'll wait. They came over, and I did it again. It was that kind of thing, you know. They look at you, and go outside, come back in, do it again. They're like, okay, can you go outside for a second? We need to talk. And then at some point they gave me some more scenes to read. I read some more scenes. And then I came back in at one point, you know, after however many times I came back in, they said, we want you to test on Monday. So they gave me, whatever, you know, 36 hours. Being my first experience, I didn't have a mindset that I knew worked. So I didn't have a mindset that I knew I could use. And I didn't get into a mindset. What I did actually, when it came down to it, I mean, you're trying to figure out, for me, I was trying to figure out when I get on set and the cameras are there and the crew's there and, you know, you're fully naked and all these strangers. The question is, how do I maintain my concentration so I can play the part, so I can play the scene, so that it actually is real. That's like the most nerve-wracking thing. There's the self-consciousness and the fear that really is kind of, it's difficult to deal with, and it can throw you, and that's what gets in the way. That's what throws you off, being able to be the character, you know. And that was very early on in our filming, and it was really, I felt a lot of pressure because I knew that I had to establish, even in this scene, exactly who this character is, who Brian is, what he's like in bed, you know, how he would be in bed with a 17-year-old, and the fun he would have with it, and the you know, the mischief he would have, and all those things. And that's all I wanted to make sure happened. In my own daily life, I'm not a real, you know, sharp, kind of polished person. So that's something that I don't share with him, although I appreciate it. And I like it to be that way sometimes if I have, you know, if the situation calls for it. But we have different kind of taste, me and him, and I've been trying to incorporate more of my own into that, just so I'll flow into it easier. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just the experience of living, being, you know, being lucky enough to be around a lot of people in my life that have really good taste and have really interesting perspectives, and open my mind up to a lot of different worlds. When you're in high school, you know, you make these decisions, and you kind of have these ideals about, you know, what's good and what's bad, you know, and then people that don't share your opinion, you're always, you know, kind of confrontational with, and, you know, you're full of shit or whatever. But then you grow and you learn that there's so much more than you know, and it all just feeds into the same thing. And being in art school kind of exposed my mind to that, and living in San Francisco and was definitely, really, really enriching to me. Gave me a lot. Got a lot from there. Met a lot of, crazy, amazing people. Saw a lot of great stuff. You get into that state, you take your clothes off, you're completely vulnerable, you're completely exposed, and there's nothing else to do except put your clothes back on and walk out and say, I'm not going to do this, and freeze up or whatever, or just go. And once you go, it's like you're gone, so you can do whatever you want. And like I've said this to other people, and Randy and I have talked about this. I've talked about this with Russell Mulcahy too, and Dan and Ron, everyone. It's those are some of the most like open, free kind of scenes that we've shot, I feel, because it's just you and the scene partner, and you have to be connected with them. It's like when you're standing around your clothes and you're shooting a scene in a diner, it's a lot easier to sort of lazily trail off and not stay on the trail, not maintain your concentration level and your presence in that moment, than it is when you're laying completely naked next to this person, and the scene you're playing is that you're not, we weren't making love, we weren't lovers, we weren't companions, this was a one night stand, supposedly, and so that's all there was just our experience together to kind of keep me in the scene, and it was great because it allowed me to play that. I felt that continually through the scene.
And you had to focus.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't have any. I'm not making any judgments about the performance, but in terms of the experience and getting to that point and doing it, it was great. It was amazing because it just pushed me through a lot of, I think a lot of fears and misapprehensions that any actor has. Even if they've done that before, certainly for me, not having done that in that context, I thought about it before I even auditioned for the show, what's it going to be like if I ever get and I got to push through all of that. I mean, I'm completely happy and overwhelmed and overjoyed and happy to go to work every day. And hopefully it's going to be more of the same in terms of this and whatever happens next, because I mean, after doing this, I'm going to be kind of bored with something that's not, I mean, it could be about ants, but as long as it's, at the same level of reality and fun,